Hi, this is Jen, and today we're going to touch on 5 important things that you may miss when you are looking out for resale private properties. First, we're going to touch on unit mix. What is unit mix? Unit mix comprises how many 1-bedder, 2-bedder, 3-bedder or 4-bedder in these whole developments. And usually for this 1-bedder, 2-bedder, they attract more on the single or couples or young families. And it also attracts investors because the quantum usually for these types are smaller, and that's why investors are very keen to invest in. So when you see more of these units, you're likely to see more tenants as investors will actually rent this out, or they will actually sell it during earlier on when it's TUP, or maybe in the time 2 to 3 years later. So you're going to see a lot of changing hands and a lot of new owners or new tenants coming in. And if the unit mix are bigger, there are more of that, then you will expect to see bigger families. Bigger families also depends whether they have with young children or matured kids. So with all this unit mix like the bigger one, usually we'll see that these whole developments are more happening. And what do I mean by more happening? Because I see a lot of this kind of unit mix developments, they have more activities like maybe Chinese New Year celebration, Christmas celebration in the whole community. They are all actually they also are closer. They have closer relationships. And so if you are into family-oriented developments, you may want to look out for this. Which brings us to facilities now. Then you have to look out what facilities does the developments comes with. So for unit mix, for smaller ones, usually these are singles. They will look out for a swimming pool and sometimes maybe a tennis court or gym. Okay, but if you are looking for a bigger unit, then you have children, then you may want to look out for facility like the playground, or is that a nice function room to celebrate your birthday or anniversary? Okay. On the other hand, there are also some of the developments are more updated in the sense that the newer development usually has a very more POS facility like a indoor dining area or room where there's aircon with POS furnitures, come with complete electrical or kitchen's appliances. For older developments, usually the function is quite simple. But if you do go to older developments with an upgraded indoor dining room, then you can actually gauge that this development is always well updated. It means to say the community actually are quite close. Okay, on the other hand, like older developments that you went in, there are old facility like squash court, and they are still keeping that as a squash court, then it also tell you a different story. That means to say these developments are getting older and probably the owners can't be bothered to upgrade their facilities. Means to say there are more older people living in there and they don't bother. Okay, so that could be a sign. I'm not saying absolute. Okay, if you have kids, then you may want to check on the playgrounds, see where is it located. Is it well ventilated, well light, or is it tucked at one corner? And is there any children playing there? So if it's actually a nice playground but nobody is playing there, that could tell you a different story. Maybe the location of that playground is not well located. There could be mosquitoes, that's why the parents doesn't want to bring them there. So if the playground is not well maintained, that could be danger. So all these are the signs that you may want to check out before you decide to purchase. Now we touch on the amenities, which are the facility outside your developments. Okay, for those single couples, which you don't cook often, then maybe eating house, dark restaurants are actually important for you. Okay, and if you don't drive, of course, accessibility to transport like MRT, buses, or even accessibility to taxi or Grab drivers to your developments is also a point that you want to note. Okay, for family orientated, then maybe you want to look out for supermarkets, hawker centers, or maybe a wet market, and of course all the shops that are easy for you to get your things or grab your grocery anytime. For those who prefer a quiet, secluded, and like to enjoy a serene environment without much noise, then amenities like the bus stops, the supermarket, the hawker center may not be something that you will look at. Car park. Usually a lot of buyers will ask, is the car park entitlement is 1-to-1? Okay, another thing you want to look out is also go back to the unit mix. So if the unit mix has a lot of 1-bedder and 2-bedder, usually we already say these are single, young couple, or even tenants, especially for tenants. They don't usually drive. So their car park, even is 1-to-1, their car parks could be free. So in that case, you will have some extra car parks for your visitors or even for your second car. But if the unit mix has more bigger units, so usually for this unit mix, you have bigger family, so they may not only have one car, they could have two cars. So even those one-to-one, they may have a problem of parking problems, especially during the festive seasons. Your visitors may not have enough car parks, usually Chinese New Year, Christmas, or even New Year time. The layout of the car parks also is very important. Whether is it well ventilated, whether there will be any flood coming in when it's heavy pours, and of course the ingress and egress, or getting out and getting into the car park, is it safe, is it easy? So all these things is something that you want to look out. And of course the general maintenance of the car park, whether is it dirty, whether there's a lot of oil stain, whether is it maintained well, whether the road or the car park's pavement, is it well lined. So these are something, small little things that actually tells you whether this development is well maintained too. Okay, one more thing, EV charge stations. Has they already gotten some of the EV charge station inside the car park, or is the community ready to install soon? Because these are also future proof for your whole developments. And of course, it probably also alleviates some values on your property too. Next, management. It is one of the most important things that you should check on. I will advise you to actually give a call to the management or visit the management office before you decide to purchase this, because you have to know whether how responsive are they, and basically are they on-site or off-site management. Okay, what is off-site management? Off-site management means this management actually manage a few developments, so their officer is not on-site at your development all the time. So in this instances, some of them actually the response is not very fast, so your feedback or anything that you request may be delayed. And also you have to check whether the general cleanliness of this whole development is well maintained. Okay, you should walk around the whole development, check out the pavement, check out the dustbin, and also check out the gardens, especially the gardens, whether are they manicured or trimmed regularly, so that there won't be any overgrown vegetations to actually promote mosquito breeding. Okay, on the other hand, also to check how often do they fumigate these developments for mosquitoes and also other pests. And the most important thing here, of course, is the security. So basically, a lot of the developments will have a security guard right at the entrance. So generally, they will ask a lot of questions before they let the visitor in. But we also do encounter some of the security are very lax. They just briefly ask a few questions without even further going to details, and they really let the visitor in or some intruder to come in. So these are something you want to look out for, whether the committee are they very strict on this security. And of course, some of the developments which are small, they may not even have a security guard there. So if in that case, then you have to see whether the system of security on the intercom systems are they more advanced. Because a lot of times, intercom systems could be a very deterrent, especially when you have a visitor coming in and they have difficulty to communicate with you to ask you to open the gate for them. And of course, some small developments where there's no security guard, and once you open the gate, there's only one big white gate for the cars to come in, even also for the pedestrian to come in. So in that case, the gate opens up, is wide open, so some intruder may follow behind your visitors and go into the developments. So CCTV, whether how well the systems, all these things should get a check on that. So maybe it's a kind of questions that a lot of purchasers don't usually ask, but these are actually small, tiny little things that is very important for the safety of you and your family. Last but not least, the best to find out the things about the development is from the people who are already living in there. Okay, so check out the neighbors, check out those people who are using your facility, bring out some subject, asking them how is the developments, how they feel about living in there, and what is the people, who are the people who are staying there. And then of course, where are the nearest amenities, Basically, also check out if you have children, who are the kids and how old are the kids there, so that your kids can mix with them. So all these small details are something that actually can bring a very nice living environment for you in the future. For those out there, if you have more suggestions for buyers to look out for when purchasing a resale private property, do list down in the comment sections below. And if you have any queries, you can just call me directly or WhatsApp me. And don't forget to subscribe to us and click onto the bell signs for the future video. I'm Jen Tan Property. Always love to hear from you.